So DJ, it's a great honor and privilege to have the opportunity to speak to you. And I've been waiting for so long to see you back in the cage. I guess it must have been even more frustrating to you, right?
No, not frustrating. It was a pandemic going on, and obviously with one championship being over in Asia, they have different strict protocols to get, American athletes over there. So for me, I took advantage of it, spent time with the kids and the wife, did some homeschooling, and, enjoyed the downtime that I had.
Okay. Just let me ask, what are you doing? Some spring cleaning or something like that in the garage?
I am wiping down the water spots in my Tesla. I just got my car washed.
Okay. So you have some big break from the starts. Did you focus maybe during your training on some particular aspects that you could develop, not having a fight camp right now?
No, well, I mean, yes and no. We just focused on just, everything, in mixed martial arts. With obviously the pandemic, our gym was closed pretty much full time. So I just worked on, lifting weights, trying to stay stronger, staying healthy, staying athletic. Because with age, you lose your athletic ability, I feel like. So that was the only thing we really worked on. Then once the gyms all backed up, we got right back to work and got ready for the title fight.
Okay, this fight with Adriano Moraes have been rescheduled twice already, so fingers crossed it won't happen this time. What are your thoughts about this opponent, and could you maybe compare him to some of your previous fighters you faced?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a great athlete, great champion, very tall for the weight class. And if I was to compare him to anybody else I fought, I think he probably has the best grappling skills that I've had ever competed against. I've fought the best of the best around the world, and they're all unique in their own individual way.
Is there any concern about ring rust in your case?
No, I don't think so. I've been fighting for a very long time, and for me, I feel as the older I get, the easier the fight comes. I turn the switch on and I turn it off. So right now the switch is absolutely turned off. And I'm sure when I step in the cage, the switch is going to be on full blast.
I see. And how these preparations for this fight have been for now? Because as you mentioned, the situation with the gyms, with the club hasn't been perfect. So who are you training with, and are you satisfied after the job that you've done?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very satisfied with my teammates and the job we've put together for this training camp. The same guys I've trained with the whole entire time I've been my coach. So nothing new. We stick with the same team. We've never been a big gym that has like a lot of world-class athletes. We've been a gym that are passionate about mixed martial arts, and that's been very successful for me to this point.
I see. And obviously one of the big differences between UFC and the One Championship is different approach to weight classes, right? And you will be fighting in the 135 pounds limit. Does it make the preparations much lighter for you without cutting weight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cutting the weight is easy peasy. I woke up to this morning 139, so I got cut 4 pounds, which would be easy. In the past I'll have to cut the 125, which is I would have to dehydrate myself and sit in the tub and basically boil myself like an egg. But that's not the case. Now it's easier, especially with traveling over to Asia. It's a lot more work. So I'm very satisfied I fight at 135. The only difference when you fight 138, we just get taller opponents.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you even consider ever going back to 125?
No, I don't. I don't think I can make it hydrated, to be honest with you.
Okay. And if so, having so much experience as you, do you think that this system that one has provided with weight classes is better and could be maybe used in all over the world?
I think it's healthier for the athletes, and it's good for One Championship. I don't know if other organizations are going to use it around the world because I think they're so used to the weight cutting aspect of it. When you look at boxing, you look at wrestling, you look at mixed martial arts. It's just, I think it's part of the culture that I don't think will go away here in America.
Okay.
And the biggest thing too is that nobody tells you have to cut weight, right? Like if I wanted to, I could fight at 145. I could fight at 155. Hell, I could fight at 185. I can make all those weight classes, but I'm going to have a huge size disadvantage. And that's why there's weight classes. So nobody tells an athlete they need to cut to 125. I chose to cut to 125 to, be in that division. And that was like my natural weight.
Do you see any other advantages that one has over UFC or maybe other organizations with their approach?
I think for weight cutting approach or just in general?
In general, yeah.
I think one championship offers a little bit more on the martial arts side of it, not just mixed martial arts, but, there's a lot of my friends that I know who don't really care for mixed martial arts because they don't like the grappling aspect of it or they don't understand it. So they prefer to watch Muay Thai and kickboxing. And then you have, some of the fans that just love mixed martial arts. So with one championship, you're getting all of that. You're getting kickboxing, Muay Thai, submission wrestling, sometimes even boxing. It's been a while since they did a boxing fight, but they did it in the past. So I'll say that's the biggest advantage they have over any organization in the world.
Okay. How this time in one championship for you has been for so far?
It's been great. It's been phenomenal. I love traveling. I love being a foreigner and a foreign athlete, going to the countries like Singapore, Manila, Japan, and competing. It's been amazing.
Okay. And does it change anything for you fighting outside USA? I mean, with are the fans different, the climate or maybe media approach there?
Obviously, I would say the media approach is a language barrier. And then obviously competing over in Asia, there's time difference. That I try to get my body acclimated to. And the fans are amazing. The fans always cheer. That I haven't experienced a boo yet when I've been in Asia. And actually I did once, but they weren't Asian, they were Australian. So they're booing. I think they're drunk. But other than that, it's been phenomenal.
Okay. And when are you planning to go to Asia right now at the place?
I leave Thursday. I leave this Thursday.
Okay. So I also wanted to ask you about your last fights because you didn't finish your last two opponents. Does it make you more hungry for the finish at this fight, or the belt is the most important and no matter how?
For me, it's always getting a W, and obviously it's always to get to finish. And sometimes, I'm always striving to get to finish. Obviously, I try to throw Danny King that in the fucking armbar multiple times, got him in the Kimura, and then same with Tatsumi Wada, try to, get him an armbar as well. So I'm always going for the finish. Sometimes you're gonna get, sometimes you don't. So for me, my plans to go out there and look for the finish. And also come on with a W. And the biggest thing is come out healthy. That's the biggest thing is coming out healthy. I don't like coming out beat up.
Okay. It's not the best picture for your family, I guess.
No, it's not.
Yeah. For having been in the sports for so long time, what drives you at this point? Because you've been a UFC champion, you have 11 defenses. And these are accomplishes that there are just few people in the world that can be proud of that. So what drives you at this stage?
My family, to be honest with you, my family. It's how I make my living. It's how I provide, for my children's future. And that's all the motivation I need. All those accomplishments weren't, to strive, obviously striving for 11 consecutive title defenses. There was a goal there. There was a record there that I wanted to beat. And once I accomplished that, it felt great. Now it's about just, take care of the family and enjoy my time competing as an athlete.
Mm-hmm. And do you have some plan for the number of starts of fights that you want to have in 2021?
Or just 2 fights, fight Adriano, then regardless if I win or lose, want to fight one more time this year.
So you've been in talks about the greatest of all time for years. And who do you consider a GOAT? If you could,
I always say, I think it's John Jones. I think he's the most dynamic one of the most dynamic champions that I've seen compete. I've been in a room with him when he's trained. I know he's very intelligent. He has a very high fight IQ. I think when he moves to heavyweight, you know, a lot of people don't give. I think a lot of people give Jon Jones credit, but he's really, really good. And I think with his genetic ability being so tall, long, rangy, he knows how to use his skill set very well. So I'll go Jon. And he's never been beat. The closest that I've seen him get work was against Alex Gustafsson, but he was also partying and doing his own thing. So imagine if Jon Jones was, you know, dialed in on that fight. I mean, he was the second fight. Didn't he beat him, finishing him? I can't remember, but yeah.
The second fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, he finished him in the second round, I think. So,
yeah, he finished in the second round. So imagine if he was focused the first time they fought, he would just destroy him. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so just one question strictly about UFC, because you mentioned Jon Jones. Do you think he will capture the heavyweight gold?
Yes, I think so. I think if he fights Francis Ngannou, he'll beat him. He's way more dynamic.
Okay, so we've got Jon Jones as a GOAT, but obviously I think you are also up there. Would you mention yourself, would you put yourself into the Mount Rushmore of the MMA?
I'll let you think. So everybody has a different Mount Rushmore in their opinion, right? So for me, I would like to say that I've been one of the greatest to ever do it, definitely in the lightweight division as a flyweight. But, you know, everybody has their own mountain to sculpt. For me, I have my mountain I like to sculpt for my Mount Rushmore, and I'll let everybody else sculpt their own mountain.
I see. So do you have your 4 names, or you didn't think about it?
I don't think about it, but if I had to do it, it'll be John. I mean, it goes differently. I know Jon Jones up there. You know, I always get not compelled, but I like to throw, you know, Gegard Mousasi up there. He's done a lot. I mean, it changes all the time. I don't know.
I see. So different day, different thoughts, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Different day, different thoughts. I like that.
Okay, and this month, April, will be huge for One Championship. You are headlining one of the biggest cards in the history of the company. You will be broadcasted during prime time in the USA. Do you think that with these 4 cards and your name below them, do you think that you will get a bigger audience in the USA?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, TNT and being live on TNT, it's definitely going to get way more audience than any of my previous fight in One Championship, because it's on primetime, American primetime. So people will be able to stay up and watch it, and then go to bed and talk about it when they go to work on Thursday.
Okay. Does it any way concern you that you will be fighting in the Asia at some crazy times? I don't know what time will it be, but not the one that you are used to.
Yeah, I'm not going to acclimate to their time zone. When I go, I'm going to stay on my own American time zone, because that's when I'm competing. And I'm in and out. Like, I leave Thursday, April 1st. I get to the 3rd. I fight the 7th, which is 4 days later. Then I leave the 10th. So it's a quick turnaround. Like, I'm going to get in and out.
Okay. So you said a few minutes ago about taking care of your family, and that is the factor that drives you. So for how many more years do you want to stay in the cage?
I tell myself 4 more years. I think 4 more years is good. You know, my body still feels good. And it all comes down to like my training and how much time I want to, you know, spend with my family. That's where it comes down to. Okay.
So outside the cage, you are also well known for playing video games. Is it somehow connected to your training, like being, I don't know, maybe mentally focused or something like that?
It just gives me time away from, you know, thinking about reality, thinking about work, bills, children, and stuff I've done my whole entire life. It's a form of entertainment for me. I love doing it, and it just gives me that zen, that chill time.
I see. So what are your favorite games?
Right now, World of Warcraft and Escape from Tarkov. I just started playing Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn, Stormbringer. So I just got back into that game.
And just to finish, it's not really serious question, but it was funny to me, so I wanted to ask you that. A few days ago, I mentioned on my Twitter that I will be interviewing you, and I asked people if they want to pass some questions to you. And there is one really extraordinary, so just wanted to ask this. Would you rather fight two Conor McGregors at the size of Ray Borg, or one Ray Borg at the size of DC?
Ooh. Oh, that's good. Damn. Ooh, I'm gonna go with the one Ray Borg the size of DC. I couldn't imagine two Conor McGregors the size of Ray Borg. They'll be fast, have great condition, powerful strikes. Yeah, I'll go with the big DC, one Ray Borg the size of DC.